Host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at SmashItDerby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at StirringDirtRacing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening. There is not one mute all button, and it's supposed to be over here.
Man, there's that camera. You get a whole different view of you.
There's a lot of different stuff going on over here. A lot of different stuff. I don't know if it's great, if it's beneficial or not, but nonetheless, here we are, trying to put some of the new toys through their paces to figure out exactly what's going on here with everything that we have been working on for the last couple weeks. I've been in here since about 5 o'clock trying to tune things in, and I thought that I solved it. The last little piece of the Rubik's Cube, I thought we were there, but we weren't going to be able to find it until we went live. And the last thing I wanted to do was go live and have the whole house of cards fall apart. Have to restart new links and everything like that. So we're on YouTube, and it's looking like, unless something strange and unique happens between now and the next update of our system here, it looks like we're going to be almost exclusively on YouTube, unless we're going from home. But we haven't completely married ourselves to that. We have Brian has also made the trip in. Hopefully, I've got your microphone on.
First time back. I think it's been like a month since I've been in. Just work has been crazy. We're getting mandated once or twice a week, every week. So I shouldn't bitch because I have a job and I'm happy. But it's nice to be here. I mean, it isn't exactly a Monday night, but I'm here with Chris, and there's some really cool looking cameras and some new displays, and Chris is getting everything dialed in. There's a new board. The new board looks really cool. I don't get too close to that stuff because, well, it's really expensive, but he's over there fiddling with knobs and switches and things, and
I'm hoping this means that there's audio going out. There's really no way to tell for certain exactly what's going out. I can't hear anything. There's I guess there's like no monitors. I guess we could always try this. What's this do? Have we got anything this way? Doesn't sound like it. So,
You know what's really cool is when you sit back here on the back side of the display that's right in front of you, there's different light colors like that come across the back. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yep. But here we are.
We sure want to be anyway. We sure want to be. So let's see.
Do we have a live or a chat up to see if that's going?
I do. I have the chat up. If anybody's watching along, let me know. Let me know what you see, and most of all, let me know what you hear. That would be excellent. I'm trying to manually switch into the Crash Course page so that we can see if I can monitor it that way and know for sure that stuff is getting out, or if we have fallen short one more time.
Live episode 399.
Yeah, if you can do that.
Can you imagine? Who would have?
Evan, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm not even going to worry about the rest of this stuff. Thanks. So go ahead. I'm done playing with buttons. We're going to talk for a little while.
400, man. Who would have thought?
Well, we're not at 400 yet.
We're going to be.
I mean, on 390, what was it, 397 or 396? I thought, 397 is next week, and then the whole thing went to crap. So there's always that waiting in the wings,
But I mean, the stuff, they hadn't done a major upgrade like this since we've done the show, right? I mean,
this has been a long time coming.
Yeah, I know we've, obviously Jim is gracious enough to let us do the show, and but yeah, the stuff that we used here was the stuff from the other building, correct?
Yeah, I mean that stuff had been around for a long, long time. Remember, I don't know if you remember starting on the laptop.
Yeah.
That laptop was still kicking around here. I mean, it had a layer of dust on it like that and fingerprints from the old building. I mean, I don't want to make this into a episode 400
preview,
stealing the thunder, so to say. But yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since we've got this. It's been a whole bunch of the cameras that we're using now are leftovers from the traveling rig.
Oh, don't kidding.
Anything. So some of the traveling rig stuff, if you've been watching any of the live sports and stuff that are on,
cool.
The Finger Lakes One sports content when they're out from the fields.
A lot of the-
That's going to be seeing an upgrade as well. So that's kind of cool. I'm hoping that you can hear through the headset that's over there. There's a headset that should have some sound for you, so you can hear when we've got guests and stuff on that are tapped through the phones and stuff, so you'll be able to hear, because the phone line now runs through the computer as well. I know Mike Mallett would be thrilled to find out that we no longer have to put the receiver into a headset next to a microphone.
Yeah, the volume could be turned up, but I do hear some.
There's no gain on the soundboard, and that's the only thing that I'm having trouble with. But Evan said he can hear, so I'm not gonna worry too much about it, or along that side. But you should be able to at least hear the microphone when we have a call in.
That's cool.
Yep, it's very cool. But like you said, man, that other rig had been through a lot, and remember the computer had to get wiped at least once because we were having all the issues with the memory backlog. So. Yep. That was pretty cool.
Been a busy couple of weeks at Derby.
It has been.
I think it's safe to say that the season is wide open at this point.
Yeah, I think it's going to be off to the races for points forward. I sent a message out to the Embreys out there in Emery's out in California. With those Mercuries, I want to talk a little bit about how good are old Fords. Because
I could tell you when
they left a mark, no pun intended.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty nice Klinger built Fords that were pretty tough. So they're a very good car. I mean, like anything else, they have to be built the right way, but when they are, they're pretty nasty.
Well, I don't want to take anything away from the stuff that we've seen old Fords do around here, but every year that we get further along in the course of Demolition Derby's history book, the further away we get from the old Fords being available, being good. It's another year that they've had to sit, and there's new technologies that are coming in. So with as hard as that car was that those guys had out there this weekend, how good were they back when other cars weren't built as technologically sound as things are right now? We never really got to see the heyday of that out here that I can immediately recall. We saw some suicides. Tori Mastrella had a car. Ben had that. A couple Galaxies, if I'm not mistaken.
Did they run Galaxies, or did they run even older?
I believe they were 64 Mercuries.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Now I believe that's the tags brought the Fords to Metal Mayhem.
Yes, Troy did.
But those were older yet. Those were.
Yeah, I believe that was like a 59, 58. First time I ever saw Troy tag and he put on a show. It was very impressive. I told him years later when I met him that I was very impressed, and it was a good time. But yeah, and it appears though like the older Fords, like I don't know if they're, obviously there isn't as many, but the Galaxies were a tough car. Like, a lot of the locals used to run them back in the day. Right. I know the Snyders ran them for quite a while, and I think Mark said Harold might have ran a couple, or
was that allowed?
Well, I mean, they were winning, so it didn't matter. But you go far out west, and you see a lot of like the 50, there's 58, 59, 60s. I mean, there's some old iron that's been preserved in, either deep frost or someplace where it doesn't snow at all, and the sun fades.
Permafrost or desert, right?
Yeah, permafrost or desert. Either way, the cars hold up well. And I love seeing cars like that run. It's cool. We see Jason Dials bring a couple old Fords to some of the shows in Topeka, and that's always cool. So it's neat to watch. It would be interesting. Those cars I assume must have had a heyday back in the day, because I mean at some point, a 59 Mercury was an older car, and whatever it ran against, I mean they must have been pretty tough without as stock. But
yeah, but where was technology then too? I mean, when they had their heyday, that I think Demolition Derby was just coming up to speed. So everything was sort of the same and just chained together. You ran at one time because everything was falling apart. And then, we got into the 70s and more so the 80s, when the wagons, they would all just run against other wagons. We had that video from Tioga years and years ago. I think it was 88 or 89, where all the wagons ran against each other. Mm-hmm. And some of those were one-offs. If a broken axle, you put it on the flatbed and you scrapped it.
Yeah, how crazy is
so
that?
It wasn't really until maybe, I mean, I could be wrong, or we're kind of, stone skipping from 1960 whatever up until 1980 whatever. But it seemed like the Imperials and the Chryslers were the go-to at that point. And even in 1985, 1968 New Yorker wasn't even 20 years old.
Yeah. How crazy is that? How crazy is that?
So then from there, the Imperials and the Mopars got outlawed, and that's when I feel like that's when the GMs really took hold, the wagons and the four-doors as that era evolved, and we had a little spurt for the Malibus. And then it turned into the Rivieras, and now we're back to the new style Fords. So I don't even know if they justly got their time in the sun.
Yeah. And, and unfortunately there's, there's very few places where you're going to find them to wreck them. I mean, it's,
Right.
they're very few and far between.
That's a big part of it
anymore.
too, I think.
I mean, West Coast, I'm sure, Midwest Coast, the middle of California up and down, but they're just so hard to find anymore. I mean, I'm sure if you call Jonathan Furr, he could probably find Joe in North Carolina, but they're just so hard to come by. I mean, and by now, I think they were probably ignored so long as a Derby car that a lot of people just scrapped them,
Right.
Without ever doing anything with them. I mean, a lot of cars just sat around and, when the price of scrap was low, nobody, was ambitious to haul cars to a scrapyard, so they just sat there. But over the years, scrap prices have gone up, and hey, that looks like $200 or $500 sitting there, and they take it to a scrapyard. So, unfortunately, I mean, maybe they didn't really get a run, but and like I said, we've seen some guys that have locally that have built some and been pretty nasty, and every now and then you'll old Utah tapes, you'll see some old Fords on there, and it's neat to see, but.
Even new Utah tapes.
Yeah, even new Utah tapes.
They're still out there.
But, it's just, I just think they're so hard to come by now. They're, if it's a 59, that's a damn old car. You know what I mean? That's a long time for it to sit around and, not be vandalized and cut up and, turned into whatever and scrapped. And so, very, very hard to come by, but definitely I would think worth it. I mean, obviously you're going to have to update it to run, like if you're running a heavier build, you're going to have to put a lot more time into it, but
Right.
Definitely good cars, I would guess.
We've seen plenty of them come through in that old Ford realm. The Thunderbirds. Remember, Josh Buell had a couple Thunderbirds that he messed around with. I remember the crazy run that Kurt Zacharias had in that Thunderbird up there at Winter Slam.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys have done some work in Thunderbird, CJ as well. Mm-hmm. So those cars we've seen, but we never really did get to see the Galaxies with a solid dominant foothold. Yeah. Mike Adams.
Yep.
Had a really good Galaxy for a while.
So did oh my goodness, I'm going to forget his name. He used to run Derby with Brett all the time. He passed away.
Roger Matthews?
Yes, Roger Matthews. Yeah. He had a really nice Galaxy down to Cuba once. I think the same year.
That was the year that Mike had his there. Mike
Yeah.
turned around. He ended up winning. I think he ended up winning Black Rock Spring Show with that Galaxy. I had a picture of Roger down the track off to the right from where that starter stand is, and he's got the cars are all twisted up. That was my wallpaper for a long time, up on top of each other. It was, and I think whatever conversations that anybody had with Roger that year were the last ones, because I don't think he made it far past Kingsport, was it?
Yeah, he was around for a while after that, but he had quite the he had a nice run with that Galaxy down there. Put on a good show. We've also seen Thunderbird, the older Thunderbirds. We've seen some guys.
I think Tyler Smay's run a couple of them.
Yeah, Tyler. I was just going to say that Tyler's had some pretty good luck with them. Chris Lancaster ran one at Winter Slam with a 7,000 cubic inch Cadillac motor in it that had to start a fire under the oil pan to get the oil warm enough for it to start. But he
had a town and country, or a country squire wagon, didn't he? As well, Lancaster. He had a Ford wagon at one point. Old one.
Yeah. He's found some stuff frozen in Minnesota, and the deep freeze and the tundra. That he is another one. We've seen him not necessarily in person, but if you watch his page or his Facebook stuff, you see that he's he has some nice stuff out there that he's prepared and smashed. So
he had a chance to dial it back to his roots with that derby this weekend out there. It was on a Sunday. Sunday late start for everybody out here on the East Coast, but
yeah, you're not kidding.
But nonetheless, we did have some results from Hardcore, their Stoneboro Spring Derby. Happened. McKenna Sealer got the win over Terry Abadi, and Braden Boer, Bone Stock Full Size, Steven Sickles, Daryl Myers, Justin Hoffman, the top three there. Limited Well, Chad Corwin, J.D. Loring, Bill Miller jumping into the third spot. C.J. Corwin got the Mad Dog. Front Wheel Drive Street Stock, Adam Merriman got the win over Steven Sickles and Mark Metz. Brittany Proctor got the Mad Dog there. Youth Full Size, Jacob Hostetter over Brett Bryson and Jacob Farmer. And the A-Main Team Compact Show, Team Bates Racing, William Close, Jordan Doppeleur, and Jesse Bates got the win there. And then split decisions, Samuel Coffey, Jesse Ryder, and John Jones coming up in second spot. The B main for that group, the winner was Dakota Metallic, Scotty Drevenak Jr., and Mike Forrester. So with that said, hopefully this will work. Come on, stay with us. Hey, there we are. Next up, for the Unified Point Series, Hardcore's Controlled Chaos. That is going to be May the 14th in Ox, Pennsylvania. Then Smash It's Bash for Cash is at the end of the month, May 27th through the 29th in Chillicothe. June 11th, TNT's Wexford Warzone in Cadillac, Michigan. And then June 16th to 17th is Top Notch Southern Illinois Showdown in Marion, Illinois. And then at the end of the month, Buchanan is going to be hosting Richmond, Indiana show on the 25th. That's 3 nights in a row for Buchanan when you start bridging into July 9th, and the 16th. Leaderboard at this point, Ty Richards is out in front with 48 points. Bill Miller with in the second spot with 37 points, and he ended up getting on the board with some results here this weekend. Trevor Jones in third with 35. Don Santel hanging around there in fourth with 33. Scotty Drevenak, 29 points in fifth place, and that also leaves a three-way tie for sixth on the leaderboard. We talked a little bit about this a moment ago. Bash for Cash, Friday, May the 27th, 28th, and 29th at the Ross County Fairgrounds in Chillicothe, Ohio. 7 o'clock start for the Pro Stock Team Heats. Smith Metalworks Youth Full Size will be the nightcap on Friday. Pits open at 8 a.m., 7 o'clock start. Saturday is a 3 p.m. start, 3 p.m. is the Power Wheels. 4 o'clock is the Turn Back the Clock Heats, Pro Stock, Team Consi, Youth Mini, Street Stock Van, and SUV. Will be after that. Street Stock Full Size, Frank the Tank, Smash It Mini, and the pits open again at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Championship Sunday, Farm Truck, Street Stock Mini, the Relic Class, Pro Stock Mini, Smash It Full Size, Pro Stock Team Feature, and the Turn Back the Clock Feature. Pits again open at 8 o'clock. For additional details online, smashitderby.com. Payouts, 3-man Pro Stock, $15,000 to win. Turn Back the Clock, $12,000 to win. Smash It Minis, $10,000 to win. All the one and dones will pay $2,500 to win. I just wanted to take a minute. Corey, I'm going to call you back, just so you know. Corey's hatching some plans. He got all sorts of stuff that he wants to work on. A progressive waste management business serving nearly 4,000 residents and businesses around Owego, New York. RPM Group can take care of all your waste management needs. Boasting a fleet of 2 roll-offs and 6 garbage trucks, RPM is fully insured and ready to serve. Make sure you ask about asbestos abatement and surveys, interior and exterior demolition, private parties and foreclosures, curbside trash and recycling. Click or call RPM Group NY 607-223-8714. The Hardcore Tour is moving into full swing after this. May the 14th, and again, we said was Controlled Chaos. That's going to cap it for May. And then the 25th of June is the Day of Destruction in Dunbar. July the 2nd is Mayhem on the Mountain in Farmington, Pennsylvania. July the 23rd, King of the Hill in Windridge, Pennsylvania. And then July 30th is Extreme Destruction in West Alexander, Pennsylvania. There on July 30th. That's the entirety of their schedule there. All the rules and information is out already as well online at hardcorepromotions.com. One weekend that you are not going to see Hardcore being particularly busy is going to be September 9th and 10th. Stock Compacts are going to lead the way at the Iron City Nationals on the 9th of September, 7 o'clock start time. Big Wayne class, 2-man Extreme class, and the Super Stock feature number 1. Pits open at 8 a.m. Again, start time is 7 on Saturday the 10th, 6 o'clock start time with the Power Wheels, the Most Wanted Fine Art class, full-sized youth, Super Stock feature Heat 2, and Super Stock Heat feature number 3. Pits open at 7 a.m. That's going to be at the New Alex Lions Club online, ironcitypromotions.com. Payouts, Super Stock class is full, $10,000 to win, and a championship's belt. Big Wayne Heavyweight class, $2,500 to win, and a championship belt. 2-man Extreme class, $2,000 to win. Stock Compacts, $1,500 to win. Most Wanted Fine Art Street Stock Challenge, $1,500, and then the Youth Full Size, $700, a championship belt, and a fresh 98 to 02 Crown Vic. while we've got everything here in our break, I wanted to take a minute to tell you a little bit about the folks over at Jeffy's Fab Farm.
Jeffy's Fab Farm in Fredericksburg, Virginia specializes in all of your demolition derby needs. We've got you covered from bumper to bumper. Whether you need headers, shifters, harnesses, fueling systems, or complete turnkey setups, Jeffy'sFabFarm.com can help. We've even got a Canadian branch to help our northern customers. With over 16 years in the industry, we've got the knowledge and experience needed to provide the highest quality parts and put you in the winner's circle. Visit our website today or call Jeff at 540-907-3390. Fabby says the best parts come from the farm. Jeffy'sFabFarm.com.
Where'd you go?
We did do it a derby.
Ow, my head! You want to do a derby?
Hey Derby World, this is All For Him Racing Videos, where Derby never ends. We have people come up and ask, what is All For Him Racing Videos? And the answer is a YouTube channel dedicated to growing the sport of demolition derby in a positive and fun way. Our passion is to show the next generation the sport and capture the memories for generations to come. We're just trying to show that you can be a Christian, do crazy and exciting things like demolition derby, and just spread the word. We have traveled all over the country filming events, all while meeting many great people, hearing amazing stories, seeing the passion for this sport, and falling in love with the derby community. We have grown to be the largest demolition derby channel on YouTube across the world, with millions of views within our large library of videos. We love what we do and can't wait for what the future has in store. We always want to be a place for positive, exciting, and action-packed derby videos. Thank you, Derby World, and enjoy the videos.
And you know what we need to do is we need to make a bingo card that has, broken headers and all the other different elements that you see in a demolition derby. I think you could check off everything that would ever be on the card just on that video there, highlighting Alex Vasco and All For Him Racing. Running up here to the top of the 7 o'clock hour, getting ready to wrap things up here. I think we're doing better than we were last week.
Good.
I think things are in pretty good shape. A little bit of fine tuning to go, but I'm bummed that we can't get back to Facebook at the same time. That's probably the biggest loss that I'm feeling at the moment.
What do you mean?
Some of the technology doesn't allow you to hit both locations.
Oh, okay.
It's not us. It's not us. It's them. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
Nice. That's cool.
But yeah, it's been pretty good, I think, overall, all things considered. I don't think this is very bad at all.
Good deal.
What do you think? Any final thoughts on old Fords and running through results? And
I was just watching Alex's commercial there, and I saw his stuff from Dead Man's First Show. Got to check out his stuff there. Another great job with that. So shout out to him for great coverage down there.
Mm-hmm. He's got a busy season.
He's all over.
Yeah, I really want to know what his schedule looks like in full. You know what I mean?
Crazy, man. He covers a lot of miles.
That is for sure. Well, all right. Well, I sure do appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out. We are going to be back on a Monday. We appreciate that that continued support. We should be back with episode number 400 next Monday, barring anything unforeseen. Again, thanks for tuning in, and of course for Finger Lakes One for all the additional support and helping making sure that we could get back on our feet, because that loss hit everybody. And when you're here during the day, you can pull people in and test stuff, and the engineers there they're leaving us notes, and we're trying to put it together and do things on the side, and not everything is always as turnkey as we want to be. So Paul's really been working hard to make sure that we're up and on our feet, and I certainly do appreciate it. But at that point, I think it is time for us to call it a night. We got out there, and we had 399. So only one thing left to do is hit number 400, and then take a long break, right?
Long break for at least 7 days and start
7 days.
head for 5.
All right. Well, thanks again. That's going to do it for us here at the FingerLakes1.com studios. We will see everybody next time.
The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.